economy is doing very well. The outlook looks very good. Well, let's have him share his thoughts on these with us. Professor Bokpin, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, good morning, Winston, and everyone in the studio and service business.
Great. Prof, the governor is in the news. He's been talking about how the economy is resilient. He's talked about how the outlook looks bright for us as a people. But there are many who are concerned because in the current quarter, the challenge has been the worst performance of the Ghana Cedi this year. Even though year to date we say we have done very well, when you take the third quarter, we are not doing very well. What do you say is the country's economic outlook from your point of view?
Okay, thank you very much. Great one. I think you said something before you asked the Cedi about the target we set for GNRA.
Yes,
I agree with you 100%. It makes no sense. But one day you'll have that conversation.
Sure, Prof.
Okay, so if you look at the way the Cedi performed this year, the Cedi jumped the gun. The Cedi went far ahead of the recovery. So, and that is why we're concerned about the aggressive pace of the strengthening or the appreciation. So once the Cedi went ahead of the gun, there has to be some correction, and that is normal. I think that we should not be in a panic situation. We should not. The situation is not out of control. If you look at first quarter growth, and you look at second quarter growth, of course, quarter on quarter, second quarter was slightly lower compared to first quarter, but the growth is broadening. So, and then again, if you can even see that gold, its contribution to GDP dipped slightly, but there was stronger growth coming from ICT, agriculture in terms of crops and all of that. So we are beginning to see a certain broadening of the growth, which is very good.
Okay.
But that growth again is not driving what we call structural transformation. Of course, that takes a while. So the growth is still coming from a bit of low productivity. Of course, we can talk ICT, which was the biggest driver of the second quarter growth. But then when you talk about agriculture and the growth that is coming from crops, it's still low productivity. So we can't use that to say that there's transformation. And economic transformation, you look at it from two components, largely structural transformation, productivity transformation. That takes a while. But at least the strategy government put in place from the beginning of this year, we all agree, especially from the fiscal side, and which has more or less like calmed the heat. That gives us a certain platform to build on. We've seen inflation decelerating sharply from 23.8% to 11.5%. That end of August. That's good news. In fact, if you look at the rate of deceleration of inflation in 2025, and you compare that to what happened in 2017, you can see there's some science behind this, supported also